Hello guys, welcome back to Assetto Corsa, and today we are on our 50th video.
That is, well, 50th episode. We're not our 50th video considering all the rest of the stuff we've done. But yeah, 50 episodes.
Wow.
Who thought we'd ever get to that?
Well, I thought we'd give it up after 10.
Yeah, well, for our 50th episode, we thought we'd try out 5 cars. In fact, it's just one car that's got 5 different versions of it. So this is the Nissan 180SX, and this was actually recommended for us to try. So let's have a look at what it's like. It's based off one of the, not race department user, this time it's Assetto Corsa forum user, Dory. Not Dory from Finding, Dory with an I. So if you're searching him, it's D-O-R-I for his car. And it's based off, I believe it's his real car. So he's got a real one of these 180SX. And there's 5 versions of this, which means that when this car is unpackaged and uncompressed, it does come in at a whopping 3 gigabytes.
It's a lot.
It's quite big.
A lot.
Yeah.
So it must be quite a lot of detail in them.
I would say so. After driving them, I would say so. And he's done a lot of the physics and that himself. He's tried to work according to what his real car is and from what he knows to make it as realistic as possible. And he has had help from people such as Miko and Bob Skype, which I'm sure you guys know, Lamborghini Miura, Sierra Cosworth, as well as a few others here and there. So he has got the right people in, so we're really expecting quite a lot from him.
Yeah. Right then, so at the moment the first car we're going to drive is the standard version, isn't it?
Yeah. Actually, one thing I really should mention just before we do that, it is the whole pack is somewhat frame intensive. So if you've got a low-end system or a mid-end system, you might find yourself struggling a little with frames on this. And it's not 100% finished yet, so I'm presuming that right at the end that may improve somewhat.
They should optimize it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you know how many frames per second in Europe?
I was managing to get, I think, 58 on average, which is not bad. Yeah. But there was one point around here, in every single one of the cars, I dropped to almost 30. And considering, i7 processor, NVIDIA 880M graphics card and lots of RAM, that was quite a drop. So it is something to be aware of. But I mean, it's not something huge because a lot of people now have high-end systems for something like Assetto Corsa. So yeah, let's go back to the first version, which is the Type X.
Yeah. So the standard version.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the standard version.
So this particular version has got only, I think it's around 205 bhp. So yeah, it's not pushing that much, but yeah,
it's pushing about the same as your car, isn't it?
It is, yeah, actually. And it's got 225 Nm of torque. So it's obviously, being a rear-wheel drive car, it does need quite a bit of torque to keep the back end out. Because what it is, last year I think I went to an event called Japfest, and these cars are basically just drift cars, so they love drifting.
They are definitely very, very
good at. So it's kind of popular for these cars to have quite a bit of torque.
Yeah.
It's quite a nice car to drive, isn't it, as well?
It's very nice. I mean, it's 1.2 tons. It is 1.2 tons, so it's not that heavy, and exactly. And like you said, they're very popular in drift events such as this Japfest. And the reason they're that popular is because inherently, this standard version, this Type X, it is prone to oversteering.
Yeah.
It was definitely prone to oversteer.
I'm going to stop you there. The wing mirrors.
Yeah.
M3 wing mirrors?
Yeah, they are the sort of the race mirrors for this car. They're not. I don't think they're the standard. Well, they're not the standard mirrors.
They're not. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that is something that is wrong with this version, but it has been noted, and they have said that they need to sort out those mirrors. So yeah, good call. You picked up on that one. But yeah, apart from that, like I said, it's not hard to catch this car, and it is very thoroughly detailed. I mean, you can tell from the replays and from the inside, it is very, very thoroughly detailed.
Now, you mentioned here that clocks actually max out.
What's that?
The speedo clock?
Yeah. If you watch the speedometer, now you're not going to get it here, but you will get it in after this corner. So when I come around this corner, you are going to notice that the speedometer does top out. It will max out, and that's something that I kind of would have liked to have something that didn't do that.
Yeah.
Then again, I know that some cars in real life do that.
Yeah.
And this car is, as you can see, right-hand drive.
Yeah.
So it was very comfortable for me to drive this car because I'm used to right-hand drive cars. It was very, very comfortable for me to drive. It was released August 1996.
Yeah.
It's for the Japanese domestic market. That's why it's right-hand drive. And you know JD, of course, inside out. So it's very similar to the Type R.
Yeah.
So we all know the Type R. We talked about the NSX-R quite some episodes ago. It's based off the Type R in that. What,
Yeah.
the NSX-R? No.
No, Type R's.
Type R's.
Yeah.
Which ones? The Civic or the
Civics.
Civics?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think everyone will agree that they can be quite dangerous. But this one's the Type X, and really the only difference between them is cosmetic. It's really a cosmetic difference, but it's very, very well detailed. A few things I'd say that I don't like is on the dashboard. There's a clock on the rev gauge. You can see a clock at the bottom. It doesn't work. I think I'm being picky here. But
well,
I think with the quality of mods now,
what we've had,
we need to start becoming a lot pickier.
Yeah.
I would have liked that working.
if this was one of the first mods we actually looked into, then we probably would have picked it up.
We would would
Yeah.
have just said, "Whoa, this is amazing." But now that you're looking at the quality of the mods, I think we have to start picking up on these things. I don't know about you. Yeah.
Another thing I've noticed is the dashboard. It seems to be very matte, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe that's exactly how it is.
Not brilliant, are they?
The shadow is coming. That's actually coming in from Assetto Corsa itself. But yeah, you're right. I looked closely at it, and there is detail to the dashboard, but it's sort of blends in a bit too much.
Yeah.
So now we're really being picky, but it does blend in too much. But apart from that, the interior is
It's
it looks
great,
like it looks like a good old early '90s
Japanese car.
car. It does. I mean, we've all driven Japanese cars, or we've all either got Japanese cars or something. In fact, I think right now all of us have Japanese cars.
Yeah.
Right. But it's a very classic styling. It's gone through the years, and you can see it right there. There's nothing wrong about that. Driving wise, I really did like it. It's a very classic driving feel. You put your foot on the brake hard, you feel the back end kick out.
Yeah.
You go around a corner too fast, you feel the back end kick out. It's a very I think it's the right term would be it's a very analog driving experience. It doesn't just feel like point the steering wheel and go in that direction, point the steering wheel and go in that direction. You're constantly working at it, just like you would if you wanted it. You want a nice driving experience. I think that's what you'd be going for. Few flaws. We mentioned a couple here. One of the flaws that I don't like. There's a bit much of a rattle sound in the car.
Now is that coming from the dashboard itself, or is it some sort of mod glitch?
No, it's in the mod itself, but I don't know what it's supposed to represent.
It could be because with a lot of high-end sports cars, they'll have this rattle sound up on the dashboard, and that shows that obviously you've been driving very fast. The dashboard becomes unstable and it makes a rattling noise.
Well, see,
could be
that's what I thought it was, or I also thought it may be something to do with the suspension. It was suspension rattle going over the bumps, the chassis rattling a bit. But I felt that it was a bit too much. Yeah, it was nice, but it was a bit too loud.
Well, what's the author's name?
Dory.
Yeah, I think Dory was trying to represent his car a bit too much.
I think so. I mean, if he's taken his car out quite a bit and pushed it, you would get that sound. But I think it's just a bit too loud. Maybe a 20% decrease in that volume, and I think it would be perfect. Because I like the noise, but I just found that it was sort of starting to overpower the engine a bit. And we're coming down the back straight, or we're coming up to the back straight here. So you'll see here what I was talking about with the speedometer maxing out. And we are coming to the end of this, so let's grade this first car.
I'm not just going to grade the car, I'm going to grade the whole mod.
Oh, then we might as well do that at the end then, if we're going to grade the whole mod.
No, of the car.
Oh, yeah.
The car. I'm going to give it a B. Because I'll tell you what, the shadow, and you think to the game, it's annoying me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with that, I am actually looking at giving it a B as well. Not because it's not a great mod, it is a great mod, but there are a few things here and there that I don't like about it personally. That I think fix them, and this is a mod that's capable of being an A, no doubt. There is no doubt, and I'm sure at 100% it will be an A. But at the moment, this particular car is a B.
I'll agree with you, it's a B.
It is a B. But that being said, it's still a very nice car to drive, and the reason I picked this car first to drive was I thought, let me get a feel for the standard version before I go to the next version, which is what we're about to switch to very, very shortly, and that's going to be the S2 version. So we'll see you in a few seconds.
Right, guys. So we're back in the 180 again.
Yeah, that didn't start so well, did it?
No. And this is the S2 version.
Yep. So the S2 version is basically more of a track setup. And you can see first thing you can really see is there's a turbo gauge. There's a turbo gauge on the AOM. Can you see it over there? So that's the first thing you notice. Interior wise though, we'll start with the interior because everything else is exactly the same. I do like the fact that he's got green gloves. I'm driving a green car. I like the fact that he's got green gloves. So that's one thing. But when you start looking at the details of the car, it does start showing a bit of differences. So the original car, what did we say? 1.2 tons?
Yeah.
It was exactly, I think it was 1220 kilograms.
50 kg.
This one, yep, exactly. It weighs in at 1170. So it's 1170 kilograms. However, unlike the other one which had 205 brake horsepower, similar to your car, this one I think has similar to your old car at 330 bhp.
It was mapped, yeah.
But what did yours actually have with?
I think it was mapped maybe 280.
280.
Yeah.
So it's a bit more than your car. 330 bhp, and I tell you something, you do feel it. You do feel the difference. Personally, for me, this is my favorite.
I think you are right. You know, when we were talking about this car yesterday, this engine, the SR20 engine, which this car has right now, does actually come in the Silvia as well.
It does come in the Silvia.
Yeah,
I thought so because I was looking a bit into this engine, and you know, I mentioned to both of you that this reminds me of the Silvia for some reason. I think this is the car that sort of came alongside the Silvia.
It did.
The
engine was shared between this car and the Silvia, so yeah.
Right. Okay, there we go. There you go. He's the expert on Japanese cars, really is.
But you mentioned it's got the same top speed as.
Yeah, I did find that it was limited to the same or around the same top speed, but it did have more torque. So 275 on the original, 450 on this one, which meant that it was even more prone to oversteer. But that being said, the brakes were much stronger. There's a turbo in this car, hence the turbo gauge. I believe it's a HKS GTSS turbo, delivering power at 1 bar. So it's not a really strong turbo, but it's fairly okay. Something that you'd get in a low-end race car. And it was definitely more suited to a track setup. It had stiffer suspension. There's adjustable coilovers on it, and you felt, you know, when I was going around the corners, I felt that I could really throw the car in a bit more, and it would stick flat. But it was more prone to oversteer, but the speeds were much higher. I had to be going at a higher speed for it to start oversteering, or I had to put my foot down coming out of a corner to get the back wheels to light up.
Yeah.
So that was how that.
That's with it being a powerful car.
Exactly. But like we said, the interior is identical. Exterior wise, it looked quite good. It looked more sportier. I like the liveries that are available on this. You know, the standard version of the car has the standard colours.
Yeah, was it about
black,
5,
blue,
5,
yeah,
6?
I think it was 6 or something.
What colour was the previous one that we were driving?
Red.
Okay.
Red. This one, even though from the bonnet you see green, but if you look in the replay box, you can see it's actually got vinyls on the side. It's a race car.
Yeah.
It's one of those cars that you see in the Japanese racing. You know, it's not something you'd see at Jackfest. That'll be the next car that we check. But it is very good, and I really, to be honest, out of the cars that I drove, I took all 5 out for a spin. But we're only going straight through. But out of all 5, this one was my favourite. It's not the fastest, but it was just the one that I felt very, very comfortable with driving. Yeah, that was pretty much that car. There are a couple other versions. I think this is probably a good time to mention the other two versions of this car that we're not going to show.
Yeah.
So that's the Type D version. You can guess what the D stands for. It's a drift version, and it's exactly the same as this car.
But are they all drift versions though?
No. The standard version's not meant to be a drift version. This one's a race version. This one is for, you know, track driving.
But you can
drift.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
You can drift them. The next version, which we're not going to show, is the Type D. And that one is designed for drifting. Now it's exactly the same as this car, same power.
You just said that.
Yeah.
You just said that once.
What?
You said it twice.
Yeah, I did say it twice. I did say it twice.
Okay.
I did say it twice. Alright, we've just confused ourselves.
Yeah.
So this Type D version that we're not going to show, there you go, I've said it 3 times. Right, it's exactly the same as this car, same power, 330, same weight, same torque, same top speed. However, the difference is that this has extra steering angle. Obviously, for drifting, you want the extra steering angle, and it has a wider front track. So the
Same tires as well?
The tires are different. The tires are different. Also, you're going to have toe and camber and caster.
Yeah.
You're going to have that.
Definitely.
Because it needs to be aligned in such a way that it can go around corners. Because obviously, when a car goes sideways, the wheels aren't always in full contact.
Yeah.
The wheels start turning, so they start tilting in a specific direction. With this car, the drift version of the car, and the other version, which is the D460, I think it's called the D460, which is again the exact same car, same engine, but with more power.
Yeah.
Right? So it's
a more powerful drifter then.
exactly a more powerful drifter. Both of them have very the same. The rest of the aspects are exactly the same kind of angle on the wheel, just to make sure that when you're going around sideways, you haven't got just a millimeter.
I'm guessing the 460 represents the power. How much?
Yeah. I think it's a 460. And I know it's 400 and something, but it's basically it's the next version up, which we're not going to show. But coming up towards the end of this lap, I think the mirrors on this car are right. So you can see that's the mirrors that you see on the original, and you can see there you go. I end up slightly drifting it, so there is that. But I think I like this car more. Same issues with the clock and stuff, but I'm going to give this car a B+. I think I'm just going to give it a little bit more because I felt that this car, there's more right with this car than the other car.
Hang on, before you start grading it, I think you forgot to mention one thing, and that was about the 6th gear not working.
That is one thing. Actually, you are right. In fact, I revised my grade back down to a B. Actually, I will revise that grade down to a B. I completely forgot about that 6th gear. As I go for a bit of a lawn mowing the grass, someone's got to do it. I bet you on the Nurburgring they don't actually mow the grass. It's just all the cars going off. They're just cutting it off. But 6th gear doesn't work. Now, it's not that it doesn't work as in you put it in 6th gear and it gives you nothing. You're going to see here, and it's a good thing that you mentioned it, you're going to see as I come around this last corner, down onto the back straight, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And once we do that, I think we'll grade it now. And
I'm still not about the shadow. I'm going to give it a B again. But you can tell it's a more finished car compared to the first one.
Yeah.
Once they sort that shadow, and you said it's a game thing or that?
It's that to me. It looks like that's an in-game.
You know what it is? I think it's because the dashboard on this car
I think
looks very it has a matte finish, so it looks a bit.
The dashboard looks a bit bland, and the shadows are not.
Maybe I made a bit too harsh then. So I don't know. I mean, this car looks more towards A grade minus shadow. So
there you go. Did you see that 6th gear?
That's
I'm trying to get it in. It clearly says 6. I could not engage it. Right, and I tried quite a few times, even after this. I'm not going to show it, but after the lap ends, I did even try and get it in 6th there as well, and it did not. It did not like it.
I think because it is a more developed car than the previous one, I think I would give it a B+. I'm
going to give it a B. I'm going to revise my grade back down to a B because of that 6th gear. That it did annoy me. It really, really did annoy me, that 6th gear. However, a B is still a very good grade, and with this one, I think the 6th gear is the only thing that needs to be fixed. I can't believe I crashed it right at the finish line. You see where the end of that gate is?
Yeah.
And there's the finish line.
It reminds me of something you did in dirt.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we'll switch to the next car, which is going to be your car, which is the 1.5 JZ engine.
Yeah.
So we'll see you in a few seconds.
Right, so we're back here in the 1JZ engine. I'm sure a lot of you...
JZ?
Sorry, yeah, that's how they say it nowadays.
It's not 1JZ, it's 1.5.
Just no.
And it's nothing to do with Jay-Z.
No, it's not Jay-Z. I mean, that's how people say it nowadays.
Just no.
In the JDM place, that's how they say it. A lot of people
JZ.
But okay, we'll say JZ for this video.
We're not American.
So this particular engine actually comes in the Toyota Chaser and the Supras. It's pretty much the same.
That's where I got it from, the Supra.
Yeah, it's the same engine as the Supra, the JZ engines. I'm pretty sure all of you know about the 2JZ engine which is in the Supra. Anyways, yeah, so this vehicle is actually a drift car, and it's the one that specialises in events such as Jump Fest and drift events and things like that. Yeah.
And you can see from the livery, the colours and the way it looks, it is one of those.
And it ships out.
One,
yeah, it ships out almost 600 brake.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Was it 589? Now, one thing that I will say is that I recommend that you drift this car.
Oh my god! Look at the speedometer.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. I recommend you drift this car. However, me being me, I decided I am going to race this car on the Nurburgring. Not the best of ideas, but God, was it fun. It really was fun.
So yeah, the weight, well, it's gone up by 20 kg.
It is a little heavier.
You'd expect that with all the power it's making now.
Well, with the engine as well, it's a heavier engine.
Heavier engine.
And also, if we talk about the gears, all 6 gears work on this one.
Yes.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, all 6 gears work. And what were we saying? The last one had 450 newton meters of torque.
This one just blows it away with 761 newton meters of torque.
And believe me, I felt it. First gear, your wheel spin. Second gear, your wheel spin. Third gear, your wheel spin. I had it wheel spinning in 4th gear.
A lot of oversteer then?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's why this car's designed. It is designed to just keep drifting, wheel spinning everywhere.
It's something I'm not good at. I mean, one of the reasons I can't really drift in Assetto Corsa is I don't have a handbrake.
Handbrake is a must in this thing.
Yeah, exactly. I have a button handbrake in Assetto Corsa. It doesn't really work. You know, I need a proper handbrake. So I thought I'm just gonna go out and give this a whirl, and I'm actually going to try and race it. But you will see that I am counter steering a lot more than the other 2 cars, even in the slightest of ways. With all this power though, it does. There you go. You can see, and I just bumped it slightly. With all this power, it does come with quite a high top speed. The other ones were 150 plus, which I think maybe about 154. This one, 190 plus miles an hour. I got it up to 191 and it seemed to be just about maxing out at 191 miles an hour. I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
Why would you need to be drifting at 191 miles an hour? In what sense do you need that kind of power?
I don't think when they build these drift cars, they put so much power into it. It's capable of pushing probably more than 190, but they never ever do exceed that limit. It's just designed for drift. But they need that power to keep the wheel spinning. Do you understand?
Yeah, but surely if you realign the gear ratios, you'd have something with much less top speed but so much more power. But in any case, it was fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they had that in here.
But even then, if you think about it, they do design these cars in such a way, even with the gear ratios reduced, it's still
spin up
very high.
I'm a bit annoyed though, looking at the interior of this car.
Yeah.
No, I mean, seriously, I mean, if this is a car that's, you know, from the outside it's supposed to be looking, you know, all...
Yeah.
You know, razzle dazzle, whatever. But inside, it's.
But you know what it is?
No, it still looks basic inside.
You know, no, but you know what it is? With these race cars, they're not designed to be all fancy inside. It's all about the outside and engine performance. That's all they care about.
But I'll be honest, there are things in here that when looking at it, it looks exactly the same as a stock car. Now I know because I've seen some of these, and you know because you've seen them. Inside there are cues that something's different. Most notably, it's normally the heads-up display. Normally your speedometer and that all looks different. We've seen it in the NSX.
The air vents as well.
The air vents would normally be different. You'd probably, I mean, we've got the mirror and you've got the turbo gauge, which is all good. You probably have, I'm guessing, something in there that will tell you how lean or rich your engine mixture is.
Air fuel ratio, oil temperature.
Exactly. All those gauges, I feel that should be in there.
I mean, being a drift car, they should have at least, I don't know, taken off the dashboard or make it look a bit more fancy.
Exactly, and I think that's the big complaint for me about that. From the outside, I felt it's a great car. From the inside, I wanted a bit more of a wow factor, not something like full-on race machine.
Just make it look as if, you know, how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But
and you can see, because of how low the ride height is, I decided not to go in that lower area around the carousel.
You let them in the grass.
Yeah, it was just gonna. I could feel the car scraping. I could actually feel the car scraping on the ground. So that's something that is to be pointed out. But you can see the stance on this car. I believe it's called stance, right?
Yeah.
I'm not too aware of all these drift terms.
I would say this is probably the correct amount of stance.
Yeah,
not the
is
silly amount of stance you see nowadays.
Racer stance.
Yeah, with a ridiculous amount of.
No, this
camber.
is honestly driving this car. I'm like I said, I'm not a fan of drift events and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Need for Speed, of course, you like drifting, but I'm not a fan of drift events as such like Jackfest. But I do respect cars like this. Yeah, I think that a lot of cars in those kind of places aren't that great, but cars like these always show up.
Yeah.
You know, you'll get a fair amount like this, and you, as much as I don't like the whole idea behind it, when you look at this car, you have to respect the kind of engineering that's been put into it.
Yeah.
The kind of, you know, they've done all this testing to move something by 0.2 of a degree just to get a little bit more contact on the road and stuff like
To be
that.
fair, credit to the mod as well.
Definitely credit to the mod.
He's taken all this on board and has actually, you know, put this in.
Yeah, the engine sounds really good.
Yeah.
I had you listen to the engine.
Yeah.
You've been there. Is that what an engine? Something
It does,
like that.
It does sound like a 180 engine.
There you go.
Yeah. It does.
You've got it from the man himself. This guy knows his Japanese engines, his Jackfest engines and all of that. It does sound, and I would say,
I mean, I really do like the turbo speed on this car as well.
Yeah.
You can really hear it.
you know what? When I first put my foot down in this, and it had the low hiss, and then suddenly this hiss ping, I thought I was pressing a nitrous oxide bottle or something. Seriously, it was just absolutely crazy. But this car is very challenging to drive. If you want to try and race it, it's very challenging. Because it's got, like we said, it's that 1.5 JZ engine, and you've got a 1.8 bar GT 35R turbo here, so it's almost
Quite
twice
powerful,
as much
yeah.
as the turbo as in the other car. And like I said, not my favourite car of the pack, definitely the most powerful. It is definitely the most powerful. I think what should we give it as I come around one of the come onto the back straight.
Grading the entire mod itself.
Well, let's grade this car and then we'll end by grading the entire mod.
I'm going to grade this car minus the shadows, but it's still annoying me.
Yeah.
An A.
I was going to say this car, I was going to give something like an A-. It's just got a few things missing, like that interior,
Yeah.
but it's definitely, otherwise it is
Yeah.
there. The noise, the textures, the feel of it, it's all there. And plus, look at this, 180 miles an hour, still accelerating, 185 miles an hour. What about you?
Yeah, so I think I'll give it an A- as well. I mean, the exterior and everything looks very nice, sounds good,
Yeah.
but it's just the interior that's lacking a little bit.
And
but
think
that's
overall, we can then give the mod something like a B+.
it. Yeah, B+. I think that's good.
There we go. There you go. And that's that mod. We will leave a link in the description box below. Please remember, hit the like button if you like this video. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to our channel as I actually drift it right at the end. I get it drifting. Subscribe to our channel for more videos on Assetto Corsa, and leave a comment in our comments box below letting us know what you think of this car. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.